Robbo Show. We're driving up to Canberra. That's how committed we are. We're going to see them play the GWS. Can't wait to get up there. And just as a precursor to playing in our nation's capital, I thought I'd get round all the players for another Vox Pops and ask them what they actually know about politics. Check this out. The Melbourne Demons are playing in Canberra this week, and I thought it would be a great subject. Get around and ask the boys what they actually know about politics, if anything at all. They're in doing all their training right now. Let's go and find out. Question. Yeah. Ready? I'm going to ask you about politics. You cross politics?
No.
No?
I don't even vote, Bryce.
You didn't even vote?
I don't vote.
You look like a man that knows a bit about politics. The Demons are playing in Canberra this week.
Yeah.
If you were the leader of this country, what would you change? What would you make better in Australia?
What would I change? Tax, I reckon. Yeah, get rid of it? Yeah, rid of it. Bloody oath. Pay too much.
But then you'd have no money to build roads and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, well, more money in my pocket.
I mean, obviously you'd raise the height of all doors, for one.
Yeah. I'd get rid of the sub-rule.
It's a big day down at Amy Park at the Demons because Dunny, check him out. There is no caterpillar anymore.
Disappeared, mate. Fell off this morning.
Makes his nose look bigger.
That's true. It does make my extra large nose.
Is that why you had
extra
muscles to make your nose look smaller?
Yeah.
If you were the leader of this country, what would you change?
Would make Canberra a little bit more fun.
What made you want to just shave it off this morning after 3 years?
I don't know. I just woke up and looked at myself, had a good hard look at myself in the mirror. Really enjoyed having the mow.
Probably should do that myself.
I wish that it could stay around forever, but it was just time for a change.
Yeah, right.
So I'm not saying it won't come back at all.
Probably make all slurs against redheads to be, out jail terms, maybe even a life sentence or something like that.
Explain to me in a few succinct words the carbon tax.
Not good.
Carbon tax, it's actually this tax that's on carbon.
Yeah.
So, it's, that's about it.
Yeah. Going to Canberra this week, mate, you'd be right across the carbon tax. Can you explain to me the carbon tax?
No, I
can't. You know anything about the carbon tax?
Nah, something big companies are paying or something.
Absolutely no idea.
It's a bit of a concern.
I think it's a disgrace to bring carbon tax in. It's not good for us.
You only
For many reasons.
Being the greenie as I am with my surname, I like the carbon tax. I like what she's brought in there. The green emissions that are going on in this world, we need to cut it down, and
obviously we've way too much money.
Everyone go Metro Solar.
Carbon tax. Well, it's a tax about carbon.
Beautifully said. Well done.
Would you make Tasmania a part of Australia? No, I'm bagging myself there. We're bagging ourselves.
I think it is to do with companies mining fossil fuels, and it has impacts supposedly on their ecosystem, and so they are putting a tax on those companies, charging for carbon dioxide released in the air, and I think companies aren't too happy about it.
Well, fair to say that the boys know absolutely nothing about politics, and they should pick up a paper every now and then and read something other than the sports section. Well, that's all I've got. Back to you, Robbo. Thanks, Robbo. Football and politics, they don't mix. Now it's time for your favourite segment, supposedly. Maxi Gawn, big job this week. He's got the big dog. It's the coach in Gawn in 60 seconds.
Welcome back to Gone in 60 Seconds. Unfortunately, I was looking for a big dog this weekend, but I've unfortunately got Mr. Mark Neal. But we'll run off it. Were you ready for Gone in 60 Seconds?
Yeah, ready as I can be, Max. Lovely to be here.
Here we go.
What do you got for me? I've got to survive 60 seconds of this mess. Right.
You have 3 daughters. You've got to pick one of the boys to marry. Which one would it be?
Tom McDonald.
You have high expectations on tackling. Can you explain why in your first 6 games you only got 4 tackles?
No, I can. Back when I played, there was only one statistician doing the whole, both teams. Now, if I'd have been fortunate enough to play in the era where there's 8 stats blokes from champion data sitting up in the box, I think that would have been accelerated by about half a dozen a game easily. So, yeah, what else you got?
Is your favourite name Jack?
Yes. Yeah, no, I like it. Good. That'll do.
Is it true Ocean Grove have made premiership stubby holders with your picture on it?
Yes.
Who runs quicker when they can see the finish line, Sam Blease or Usain Bolt?
Bleasy.
Have you ever seen
Hang on, finish line or goals?
both?
Both. Bleasy?
What's more exciting, Tom McDonald's future or me training day one pre-season?
Oh, you, Max, clearly.
Does every word in your vocabulary only make sense if the word elite comes before it?
Yes.
Mark Neal, that's Gone in 60 seconds.
Thanks, Max.
I tell you what, it's a long way to Canberra. Know that much. It is a wonderful experience to play your first game, I can tell you that. And I thought it would be a great opportunity on this week's Remember When to catch up with a player that played his first game in 1998. He was a nuggety little midfielder and a great bloke. Check this out.
So we're about to get underway here at the Basin Reserve in Wellington.
It was Kelly again. Well, strong tackle there provided by Rigoni. And I'm sure those sort of things would impress Neil Danaher at this early stage.
It's Remember When with an old mate of mine I used to play football with back in our halcyon days when we were young and fresh. It's Guy Rigoni. How are you, Gus?
Hey, Robbo. How are you, mate?
Good to see you, mate.
You too,
You're
mate.
adorned in your work here.
Oh,
you
mate.
work. Give him a plug. You work for Caterpillar, don't you?
Work for William Adams Caterpillar, the dealer here in Victoria and Tasmania for the big Caterpillar equipment.
And you've been working for them for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I started when I was still playing with Melbourne part-time and then went into a full-time role when I retired. So really enjoyed it. I was a bit dirty today.
Yeah, you've been working hard, obviously, not like me.
I just rolled in the dirt to make it look like I've been doing a bit.
It's always great to catch up with my old mates and find out what's going on. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about, Rig, is it's kind of special to me too because we sort of started out at the same time. My first year at Melbourne, I remember, towards the end of the season, you played the last couple of games in the reserves, if I remember correctly. You were playing for Murderford that year, your hometown in Murderford. Yep. You got a phone call. Now, talk me through what was going on at the time. You got a phone call by the Melbourne Demons to come down and play in the reserves.
Yeah, they mustn't have heard about that Murderford have a pretty big Mad Monday. And I was
actually has a pretty big Mad Monday.
I was actually at the pub, and I think it was about 8:30 at night. And
I've seen that pub. There's a picture of Gary Ablett Senior in there, and I think maybe you as well.
Yeah, myself and Steve McKee, who also made it.
Good footy
was up there. And the phone rang, and the bartender said to me, "Look at your dad calling." And I said, "I'll take a message." And then he said, "No, he really wants to speak to you." So I thought I'd better take it. And "G'day, Dad, what's going on?" He said, "Oh, some bloke from Melbourne rang up and said, do you want to come down and play on Saturday with them? They're a bit short." And I thought about it, I was pretty pissed. So I said to the boys, "What do you reckon, boys? Should I go?" And they were like, yeah. So I thought, all right, tell them I'll play. And he goes, "Do you think you should come home?" I said, "No, give me another couple of hours and then I'll get home." So. And the rest is history. I played a ripper game for him when I come down, and we beat Richmond. It was the only win for the year for the Demons, and mate, it was a fantastic day.
I remember it well because I played my first game on the MCG. I think it was the Saints.
Yep.
We were playing, and I think you were rolling around and just watching you going. I'm thinking, who's this bloke? You're just racking up the possessions, and the tale of the tape was, on the basis of those couple of games and your season with Murderford, you got drafted to the mighty Melbourne Demons, and mate, you had a great career. But this segment, more specifically, is about your first game.
Yep.
Now, your first game was a really hot day against Fremantle.
That's correct.
But I want to talk about your
very first
game against Ansett Cup.
It was Ansett Cup back then.
We played Sydney in New Zealand.
Yep.
Folks, do you remember that? We went all the way over to New Zealand.
Yep.
He put on the jumper and played on a handy little player.
Yeah.
Who was that?
It was Paul Kelly. First up.
He used to go all right.
Yeah.
Bit of a baptism of fire.
It was a bit. Danaher chucked me in and said, "See how you go with this bloke." He just... Brownlow medalist, I think it was at the time.
Yeah.
And,
big guns. Could play.
His arms were bigger than my legs at the time, so I was a little bit nervous.
All of a sudden, during the game, this happened. You're playing on him quite tight. It's down on the back flank there.
He bent over to pick up the ball, and I bent down to tackle him as he picked it up. The next thing I know, I'm on the ground, and he's on top of me, and you've cleaned him up. So, and took my front tooth with it just about. So.
I never really did a lot of that sort of 1% of business, I suppose. But early days, I suppose I did. I tried to take out Paul Kelly for you, but I ended up taking out your teeth.
Oh no! I ended up at the dentist that night and got it fixed up. And Paul Kelly apparently had concussion. Played the rest of the game. He ended up kicking 2 goals and he can't remember it.
I think it's one of the best things I ever did was take out 2 of the hardest nuts that ever played, and one of them was Guy Rigoni. Just a wonderful little Remember When segment with one of the past greats of the Melbourne Football Club. Great to see you, Gus.
Thanks, Robbo.
Good on you, pal.
Pleasure.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're still a long way to go to Canberra, but we're going anyway because we're supporting the Demons all the way. That's been the Robbo Show. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a ball of a time. I'll see you next week for another action-packed show of entertainment and awesomeness. See you then.